What is up, all of my matrix breakers? This is Astrology TV, and this is Breaking the Cage. But give me a second because I need to have a sip of my drink. And before we get going, I need to light my incense here. Make sure I have all the energy going good and everything. Give it a couple of minutes, let some people come in. Alrighty, this is Breaking the Cage, Astrology TV with the Matrix Minds. I renamed this Breaking the Cage a couple years back, and I'm being told more or less to remind people of that. Not because of renaming the show Breaking the Cage or hooking up with Matt and bringing it out here on the Matrix Minds, but the reason we call it Breaking the Cage is because we are breaking our cage. A lot of whatever is going on in our lives, understand, in our personal individual lives, our little lives compared to the whole big picture of the world, the energies are incredibly important. And the energies themselves are helping us to break that cage, helping us to break the way society has always been, to turn the keys and unlock the doors. But then when we bring them into our individual lives, we're learning how to individually shatter the cage and really, truly bring back power, not just to the people, but to finding our souls. And then find how liberated we truly can be when we tap back into each other. So we are calling this Breaking the Cage because that's what we're doing. We're releasing ourselves from our bondage. And we're learning how to make the energies that are in the astrology, everything is energy. That's why I'm going this route. Because everything is energy. And I will talk to so many people, who will be like, yeah, everything's energy, but, blah, blah, blah. Person's attitude, is something. Yeah, no, it's energy, people. Everything is energy. It just depends on what energy are you tapping into. Is it in your vibrational frequency? Are you in alignment with it? Are you fighting with the energy that's going on inside of yourself and the world around you? Everything is energy. And one of the best things about astrology is starting to understand all the different energies and what that does to us individually, how it helps us break the cage, and how it also sometimes hinders us. And the reason I'm saying that is because I'm being reminded when I was doing the astrology, I was being reminded, you need to be responsible for your energy. Not just your energy, but you've heard the memes, you've seen the little plaques, the sayings, the whatever. Be responsible for the energy that you bring to the table, that you bring to the room, that you bring to the space. You got to remember, no matter how in check you are with your energy, there is some fool right next to you who is not. And over the next couple months, you're going to be challenged. But if you know yourself, you know your energy, you're in tune, you might trip and fall, but you know what? We all trip and fall. This is actually just helping us to more finely tune ourselves by understanding where we're getting tripped up by the outside influences that will try to test us to see if we really truly have grown. You have to learn to be responsible for your energy, but more importantly, you have to learn to understand your energy. With that being said, technically, you will not hear this from most astrologers because they do not go into what I call the planets, or Spirit was calling them secondary planets, like the dwarf planets and asteroids and stuff. Not all astrologers go into them. And technically, you have 8 so-called planets in retrograde. You're going to hear a lot of people saying that you have, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have 8, at least as of the 24th, I believe it is, when Uranus is in shadow, people, and it's going to go retrograde on the 24th. And things are really going to stir up at that point. Not to mention, I kept warning everybody, we're coming towards, it wasn't just the Lion's Gate this year. This energy is leading you directly into your next 6 months. And a lot of it has to do with this full moon coming up next week in Virgo. All right, people, before I get any further, this is the weekly healing, not the weekly, see, that's the old name. This is Breaking the Cage for August 14th through the 20th. At the end of this week, you have Mars moving into Gemini. But you still have to make it through this week before Mars breaks away from that energy. Let me give you some newsletter stuff I got to give, and then I'm going to jump right back into this week. Karen, I do see you leaving comments, but if I get reading them all right now, I'm going to lose my channeling. So I will go back and I will read that, and anything else anybody else posts, I will go back and I will read them when I'm done with the show. I get sidetracked, I'll get lost, and I'll lose my train of thought, my channeling energy. So I notice them, I try to be respectful, but I go back for that afterwards. And if there's anything I need to say or comment on, just notice that I might come back after the show and leave a comment. All right, people, first off, if you love Matrix Minds, which you do because you're watching the show. So if you love the Matrix Minds media, I always try to make sure that I am sending out some help Matt's way. Matt has a swag shop, people, where he has shirts, I believe he has cups, all kinds of stuff. And I know that you love Matt and you like to know what's going on with the Matrix Minds. So if you look in the description box, there is Matrix Minds website there. And you can always check out his swag shop and get stuff right there, and you know, start helping to support him in other ways, you know, giving him that love that you know you all want to give him, because come on, we all love Matt, plain and freaking simple. Now with that being said, because dude, I love Matt too. With that being said, I want to throw out some information because I have new things coming out, and I started it, or I was gonna start it this month. But for those of you who do follow me, you know that I came down with COVID and I was forced in a 2 weeks vacation, which I pretty much needed anyway. So thanks for the vacation. But I'm back. And now that I'm back, I'm able to move that stuff forward. And with that being said, I was creating what I am now going to be calling the Moon Phase Ritual Workshops. And this is not for your generic witch, your generic spirituality. This is not for the half-assed, let me just do some moon phases because I heard of it. This is getting seriously deep, raw, and soulful. And in these workshops that I'm going to be putting out, you have a choice of doing a half cycle or a full cycle. Most people are the most interested in the full moon and the new moon. And when you purchase one of these workshops, you will, during those 3 days of the full moon or the new moon, get 1 hour session with me directly, where I will help you tune into your transiting chart and what is going on specifically, directly in your life, and help you to find the lessons and the healing. Along with that, I will start getting into, prior to that session, because I will have your astrology chart, I will get into what are the best crystals and so forth, due to the energies in which you are working with, the houses, the planets, the chakras. I'll get into what crystals are the best ones for you to use through that time, possibly your essential oils, you know, herbs, spell work, ritual work. I will help you critique it, understand the lesson. And if you get a full cycle, then it'll be both full moon and new moon, which we will have those sessions. And then if it's just one, you choose one of the two. I am not going to start this until September, but I am starting to book these appointments. You can find all of that information in the description box. No, you can't. Sorry. You can find all that information on my page. So in the description box is a way to direct you to my page. And then I also, because I was bringing up, we were going to start Monster on a Pyre. Kelly and I, who I do Thursday Weekly Thunder with, where we're starting to get into, moon energy and kind of not just directed to soul energy and the collective energy of the weekly Thursday, weekly thunder, because we usually pull our tarot cards and we give out whatever we're getting of energies from our guides, as well as for, the consciousness, more or less. We're giving out that information. We're going to start tapping into a little bit more. Kelly and I are going to start doing, and I believe we're going to start it at the end of the month, and then we're going to tap it into those full moon cycles or the moon cycles. We're going to start what we're calling Monster on a Pyre. And it is called Monster on a Pyre because it is all about sanctifying your energy, sanctifying your inner vampire, your inner Dracula, your inner, Frankenstein, your inner monster. It's the freaking ego. We're sanctifying, release, surrender, and let go, burning it away. And we're going to start doing rituals where you can buy in on them. And we will do the rituals to help everybody out, according also to the astrological energy. We are going to start one at the very end of this month, and then we're going to kick back to the moon phase timing. So we'll be doing it in the first and the third phase. But we're going to do the one right here at the end of the month and then kick it up with that. You'll be able to find more information again on that, Monster on a Pyre, releasing our ego and helping us transform and ascend. We're going to start doing those rituals. You'll be able to find that information all on my page. Now let's get back to where we started off. Before I get into the actual blueprint and then the astrology. The blueprint, for those who haven't been following me for very long, the blueprint is recently in the last year and a half, I legally rewrote astrological anatomy, and I'm calling it our Starlight Code blueprints. And each person individually has their own blueprint, which we all know. When we tap into the astrological energy, the planetary movement, our chakras, the fixed stars, you may find a lot of time that the information that you've been given on the mainstream idea of your energies doesn't match. And that's because when I rewrote the astrological anatomy and I rewrote these blueprints, I wrote them with the universal idea of understanding, how astrology fits in our body and how the energy moves with our organs and how it helps to detect, illnesses that we can be causing ourselves because of blocked chakras, blocked energies. And I will say 1,000,000 times to all of you that, if you are trying to do sound frequency and it's not working on your healing, especially like if you're working with tuning forks and you're trying to tap into those chakras and bring the healing to the chakras and it doesn't work, 90% of the time, it's because in your blueprint, people, you got a planet there, which is overriding the mainstream idea. There's so much that the mainstream does not teach you. And if you are interested in your own personal blueprints, your own personal astrology, and when I do astrology charts, I don't just give you like some printed up information from Google. No, I sit down and I actually do counseling and critiquing with you for 2 to 3 hours on session. So I'm really getting deep and raw and helping you to understand you and make the necessary healing growth. But when it's a blueprint, that is definitely up to like a 20-page blueprint. I have to channel it for several days before I can give it to you. Astrology charts, I do have on sale also right now. And like I said, those coaching sessions. And I will be sitting down with any of you who are interested in that. Typically, it begins at 2 hours. I also do mentorship, which is mentorship/reading, depending on where it needs to go, whether it's psychic, whether it's medium, whether it's astrology. Those are all sessions that I do virtually for an hour at a time. You can find all of that stuff also in the description box. But with that being said, we have 8 flipping planets as of the 24th that is going to be in retrograde. This means for the next, especially the next 4 months, especially the next 4 months, but you're definitely going to be feeling the tweaking between now and Halloween. And it is definitely testing. Like I said, watch those outer energies. It is going to be testing your self-oriented energies, your self-assertive energies, your self-motivated energies, your free will, to actually use your free will to tap into who you are, your identification of you, your character, your authenticity. You're going to be tested on not if you pass, but if you are really honing in on who you are. A lot of people are still getting a little, I'm sorry to be the negative person sounding like that. A lot of people are still getting, that hit below the belt as it feels in there now. But it's because the way the energies are working, it's trying to give you, sometimes when everything falls apart, it falls apart to try to put things in place. Things need to be removed. But often we fight with our ego energy of misunderstanding what needs to be removed to get us on the right track. And that's what a lot of this is testing. Are you really ready to walk your walk and talk your talk? Are you really ready to step into your authenticity? Are you really ready to be responsible for your energies and what you bring to the table? Are you ready? We're breaking the cage, people. That's what this is about. I kept warning you guys for the last 3 years. For those of you who've been with me for the longest amount of time, you kept hearing me say, once Uranus hits Taurus and stays there, we're looking at honestly coming into, are you in your power or someone else or something else? And now, with the energies that are going on, all of these planets that are in retrograde, you got to understand, when planets are in retrograde, they no longer are communicating outwardly with the rest of the world, not properly. Most people only want to talk about Mercury in retrograde. And depending on who you are, Mercury is not that big of a deal in retrograde. Depending on what sign it's in, it isn't either. But we're not talking about Mercury retrograde. We're talking about Uranus, which is your independence, your individuality, uniqueness, freedom, your ability and capability to bounce back to the authority and liberated energy of you, your soul self, your past, present, your future. You're all in trinity of thy soul self, thy soul fire, and call it back to you. But it's not easy in Taurus. It's not a comfortable place in Taurus. It's more of feeling like being rattled when you're not getting it and wanting to lash out like a tiger stuck in a cage. And I kept warning everybody that if you're not in your power, someone or something else will be. And this is when you start to feel like you have to lash out. You have to be manipulative. You have to push to receive. And I'm explaining it this way before I get into the blueprint and the actual astrology, because you are going to see a lot of that coming up right now. You have Aries. Everything in Aries is going to be in retrograde until pretty much the end of the year. That is Eris. Oh, technically that's 9 in retrograde. Eris is another one that most astrologers don't talk about. Eris is responsible. She's the goddess of strife, trouble, toil, and strife. Not being able to start a new cycle because she's still strife. It's what I call vampire syndrome. And then Chiron is there in retrograde, the wounded healer. Jupiter is in retrograde. Jupiter is in retrograde, but Jupiter is abundance and higher knowledge. Jupiter could be the most luckiest thing for you when you know how you use him wrong. Because when you know how you're using your Jupiter energy wrong and you know to stop it, you start to acknowledge it about yourself, flip it over and go, no, 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 360 the other direction. Then you turn that stuff into your biggest allies. Your retrogrades can be your most powerful allies, but you must understand their energies. You must understand the energies that are taking place in them, the signs that they are in, and where they work against you. So you flip it over, you 360 turn it on into an ally. Aries in retrograde with Jupiter, with Chiron, with Eris is all going, can you spiritually evolve? Can your character grow into who you think you are? Can you step into that soul fire? Or are you going to hold on to that vampire energy? You're going to hold on to that, I don't really know, I'm kind of so used to this, and I'm going to allow it to continue to happen. And then start getting into the word vomit, the negative thinking, the thinking that's in your head, that chatter that just destroys your energy. Are you going to allow it? Then we move into Taurus. Taurus is where Uranus is in retrograde. North node is in the south node. Rahu and Ketu, they are always in retrograde. That's just the way that they move. So this is everything you need to know in order to move forward in your second house of your self-worth, self-value, self-esteem, your money house, your ability to create money according to the law of attraction and how you feel, manifestation house, self-worth, self-value, self-esteem. If you don't feel liberated and you don't feel good about you, and you don't believe in you, no matter how much you want to, if you don't, then you won't create it. This is saying law of attraction, manifestation, money, the possessions that help us feel good about ourselves so we can be the best selves. Believing in ourselves. Uranus, your independence, your individuality, your uniqueness, your individuality, and a way to create is going to be, all of these are in your head. All of this is serious mind chatter going, can you? Can you not? Are you going to overanalyze? Are you going to allow your inner ego to destroy you for the next couple months? Starting now. And that's because once Uranus goes retrograde and we come into this new moon off of this Lion's Gate, kaboom. The manifestation is already in its direction. Can you manipulate it and shift it the way you want? Yes, you can. But you have to believe in you. Then you've got Saturn in retrograde, your rules, laws, boundaries. You've got Neptune in retrograde, your ability to create and start a new cycle by believing in yourself. You have Pluto in retrograde, trying to ask you, are you ever going to truly find your soul self and get over your anxiety of truly encompassing all that you are? Stop being afraid. The only thing that fear is good for is creating more fear. That's all that it is. It might put you in, oh shit, I gotta pay attention. But the only thing you have to fear is fear itself. And when you believe in fear, anxiety, doubt, stress, negativity, more than you believe in yourself, well, then that's what you'll bring to yourself. Don't let that mind fuck you. It's a lesson. Now, let's get into the actual chart. We have Aries and Chiron. I don't know where Eris is. I didn't check Eris on the thing. But Jupiter and Chiron basically are going across your cheek, your eyes, and your ears. So we're talking about the abundance, really, of your head thinking is all going to be playing off of what you literally, physically see and what you literally, physically hear. And then what you'll choose to speak. Remember, I warn you guys all the time, Aries energy is a beginning spark, a beginning point in astrology. But in the blueprint, it's your freaking brain. It's the way your head works. And the eyes, the ears, and what you're hearing, viewing, seeing, thinking all connect to the zeal point and either open you up for the negative energy if you're connecting with the viewing of the negativity, or if you're connecting with the viewing of the positivity. Are you opening yourself up for psychic attack? Are you ultimately accidentally asking for it? Your eyes and your ears, what are you tapping into? Are you tapping into frequencies that are so low vibrational or so high vibrational? Are you going to allow yourself to accidentally direct the energies and keep the focus on things that don't serve you, but actually keep you ranting and working against you? I kept saying last week, from here on out, it's about train your brain. Train your brain to work for you, because you are responsible for what your brain chooses to think and its actions. You can always alter it. That's one of the things we learn with our meditation, when we learn to shut our brain off and allow that heart and head to come into balance. If you don't train your brain how to work for you, then it may work against you. When we get into the Taurus energy, you have that Uranus energy and that North Node and that Jupiter. No, Uranus, North Node, and that Mars until the last day of the week. And all of it literally is going over the lymph nodes in your neck, going over the thyroid, the tonsils, and how you are choosing to speak. Will it be word vomit, or will it be, more of upbeat, believable things? Not believable things, but things for you to choose to believe in, to speak positively and preach out, spell out manifestation of good or manifestation of bad. Ears, nose, throat, what you see, think. We're talking about your sensitivities. Are you going to let your sensitivities get the best of you? And your lymph nodes and the tonsils have everything to do with speaking your throat chakra, your expression. But do you know your expression? Do you know what you want to express? Or are you expressing from lion in a cage energy? Are you in check with your energy? Are you responsible for your energy? Not to mention that throat chakra with the lymph nodes in the neck also could cause problems and kinks in the neck, which also forces to direct your eyes and your head in specific directions, making sure to remind you just how inflexible you're being. This is what I'm saying. The blueprint tells you a lot. Now you have Lilith, which is in Cancer. And I've been saying the whole time, Lilith is not strong in Cancer, even in the blueprint. Here, she's very submissive when she needs to be independent. She's very caring, nurturing. Cancer energy is one of the most powerful empath energies that we have. And the reason for it is it's not just a water energy, it's a moon energy. It is very much a chameleon energy. And it shapeshifts to match the room. It shapeshifts to reflect back the energies of what is going on. Now, in the blueprint, Lilith, like I said, being more submissive than independent, is in the gut. So will you trust your gut instinct? It's your actual abdominal energies, and it's your actual gastric energies of the digestion. We're talking about the energies that you're choosing to digest, pull into you, into your energy, into your aura, into your chakras. And are you pulling in things that are going to create blockages? Are you digesting it or not? I always tell everybody, one of the reasons I create, the oil and the spray called Psychic Sponge is because an empath is a psychic sponge. And if you use a sponge to clean off the counter and it's wet, It's too wet. All you're going to do is wet the counter. A sponge has to be wrung out. If the empath doesn't wring out their energy, they're just causing blockages. You have to learn how to transmutate it. You have to learn how to release it. Otherwise, it all gets in the gut. It all gets into that sacral chakra. And then it starts to crumble your relationships and your self-belief, your self-worth, your self-respect. So what we're asking you here is your digestion giving you a hard time? What are you digesting when it comes to energy, people, places, and things? What energies are you pulling into you? Are they good for you or not? Because you may need to make changes. Now, not Cancer, we have Mercury, which is our inner communication. Mercury's not in retrograde, but freaking everybody else is. And Mercury is also in the abdominal, digestive energy, the gastric energy, your bile ducts, how you're releasing your waste, as well as the bladder and the gallbladder as it travels through this week. So is your communication healthy with you? Is it literally draining you clean and removing the waste, or are you getting blocked up? They're all big hints at helping you understand if you're understanding what your body is trying to tell you about your own emotional endeavor. Not to mention Leo energy is completely the heart. Hold on. It's almost all completely the heart. At least it deals with the heart and the spine. The spine deals with the zeal point, with the ability to send all of those energies from that brain, that thinking process, into all of those chakras and go, are we open for psychic attack, or are we in our power? Do we allow this in? Do we not? As it works from the spinal cord down. Now, the thing is, you have Venus here now, bringing excess sensitivity to the heart space, which also is speaking to you about if it doesn't support your heart and soul, stop allowing it in. Stop focusing vampire syndrome on things that harm the heart, the soul energy, because ultimately it will cause problems to the heart. And Venus is not just dealing and moving through the energies of the heart, but it's going to actually jump on the jugular this week, which is your air that you're breathing, opening up that airway to that sensitivity when you're allowing it to get too sensitive and not work for you. Because it's also connecting with that airway through the heart and the ability to create that oxygen and keep the circulation going in the body properly. So if you're getting choked up, you might want to slow down and pay attention to what you're getting choked up about, literally, because your body is now talking. It's not just the energies anymore. You're letting it in. Then we have Pluto, which has been in retrograde, I've been saying the whole time, about coming into your true soul self and facing parts of yourself that you're scared of and being able to breathe it into life. That is in the knees. When you're afraid to be you, you're afraid to stand independently, you're afraid to step out on your own. Do your knees lock up? Do you have a problem with them? Especially if it's the right knee. The right knee is typically the ego side. The soul side is typically the left. And I know when people talk about the right and left side of the manifestation, they will talk to you about the masculine and the feminine energy. But I'm talking about the ego and the soul energy. Now, you have Saturn, which is your rules, your walls, your boundaries. You just have the full moon there. And it is talking in the energies taking place in the calves and the ankles. And then your feet is Neptune. If you can't believe in yourself, if you can't believe in the magic you're going to create, if you're having trouble creating the same cycle over and over and over again, are you stubbing your toe a lot? Twisting your ankle a lot? It's trying to tell you, hey, You're missing something and you're doing something wrong. Slow down. The blueprint has a lot to tell you about yourself to help you go in the right way. But once the blueprint starts speaking, you've gotten to where it's really necessary to start listening, because it could start influencing against you in very unhealthy ways. Now, let's get into the actual astrology and let's get out of the body. We've had a chain reaction of sextiles that took place all week. Sorry, I'm being directed back. You have a full moon next week in Virgo. The only thing that's technically there in Virgo is your communication. Understand again, your Mercury's not in retrograde, but everybody else is pretty much. And it's going to be getting into your gut feelings. You're going to start doubting your gut feelings because of all of that inner chatter. Do not do it. Do not do it. The gut feeling has two main things it teaches you. It teaches you, the gut feeling is mostly known for when it tells you, oh no, this is really bad. That's the main gut feeling that people get. Oh no, this is bad. I don't want to go down this road. Just question yourself when that happens. If you get that, oh no, is it because it really is bad, or is it because it's something you're afraid of? If you're afraid of it, that's your ego tripping you up. The ego main idea is to keep you from going, to keep you asleep, or to help put you back to sleep so that you cannot ascend. It needs answers right now. It needs healing right now, and it's afraid to face those fears. Virgo new moon is all about paying attention to the details now, this week, the troubleshooting this week, the identifying of the anal retentive, pick it apart. Is it going to work for my soul or not? So that when I come to that new moon, I can truly redirect it into a new beginning based off of the corrections I made this week. And you're talking about the only planet there is Mercury. Is it going to be getting confused with the inner chatter of all of these retrogrades? Just giving you a heads up. Now, back to the actual astrology for this week, not the blueprint. We had a chain reaction I brought up last week. I call them chain reactions when it's like that energy taps into this energy, then it taps into that, then it taps in. It just keeps going like a spiral. Because a lot of people only want to look at astrology and only want to look at the aspects like a sextile, like a square, like a grand trine, and they want to read that. But there's so much more depth in it if you keep following the cycle. It has so much more to teach you. And those are what I call chain reactions. Sextiles give you so much abundant opportunities to step in and make a change, to step in and try this. The problem with sextiles is you feel very good. You feel like I can do that later, but the freaking sextile won't be there later. The opportunity and the time is now. If you miss it, you may really, truly miss it. The opportunities are here. This chain reaction was here all last week and is still here now. But now it's added 2 more energies to this chain reaction. Pluto is in the 10th house, your outer world on a universal scale. That's the authority of the outer world and your ability to tap into your own personal authority in your life in the outer world versus having to be one of the sheep and being told to do what you have to do and follow suit because the outer world told you what to do. This is your jobs, your ability to create your money, your financial success. It is your honor, your reputation, and how you are viewed from the outer world. Are you viewed as a follower Or are you viewed as a leader? Are you viewed as an independent individual who is able to really stand in their power and believe in themselves and people look up to and inspire to be more like? Or are you a person who's insecure and just does what they're told? I'm sorry, but this is what it's called, breaking the cage, for a reason. Pluto in the outer world is coming to his last 2 years in retrograde, going, seriously, this is where I need you to come into your power. I need you to love you. I need you to reignite to the outer world and show them just who the F you are. Because you know who you are. That energy is speaking in incredibly positive ways to Neptune. Your soul magic, the ability to tap into the vibrational frequency of going, hey, I was really good at messing that up and I'm not going to do that anymore. I was really good at self-sabotaging in that area. I'm not going to do it anymore. Because we're talking about the 12th house. We're talking about your grief, sorrow, shame, blame, insecurities, your skeletons in the closet, where you don't grow because you can't believe that you need the healing. You won't admit it. So this soul energy is talking to the magic of the other soul energy of going, hey, I believe in myself. I can do this. But will you? Will you? That energy is speaking to Uranus. Independence, individuality, uniqueness, freedom, calling back the spirit of you, calling back your authenticity, calling back your power through all space and time, your individuality, your creative nature, tapping into liberation, manifestation, money. That energy then is speaking directly to the North Node and Mars, saying, hey, I got the courage to believe in myself. This is the way I need to do it this time, not the way I did it before. Are you going to allow that gut feeling with these retrogrades to go word vomit and screw it up? The opportunity is now. That energy then is speaking to Lilith. This is why. Right there. It is speaking to Lilith in the 4th house of Cancer. Will you be submissive? I can do it later. No. The opportunity is now. Will you put your energies? You should always love others and support others. But if you need to support yourself right now, it is sometimes important to be self-centered enough to love yourself, to communicate with yourself. If you're giving love and energy out that you don't have, if you don't have the energy to help others because it's time to help yourself, there is nothing wrong with that. It's about understanding sometimes you need some you time to work on you. Cancer energy is very nurturing, very empathic, very mothering, and wanting to give. But Lilith here is going, no. This is one time that you need to not be submissive, not overly love, and you need to give yourself some inner tapping on your back, some inner rubbing of your own back, some inner soul believing in yourself, because the 4th house is the roots. It is the soul self. It is the depiction of understanding the depths of your unconditional inner emotional security. But if you can't tap into your unconditional inner emotional security, then you're not getting this right. You are an everlasting eternity of energy. All you have to do is tap into it and bring that source energy back to you. Know it. Don't give it away right now. This is a test. And then that energy is not getting along. I mean, it's getting along with Mercury to go, let me mess you up because the head chattering just messed me up. So now, oh no. Should I? See? The energy was there last week. It's starting to fade and break up now. It is telling you, don't give up. Stay with that momentum. Stay with that back building. Stay with believing in yourself. Step into that power of you and take those opportunities. Sink your teeth in to the good stuff, not the bad stuff. And then that is going right over to the South Node going, but I bet you won't. Like I said, the opportunity is there, but it's wearing itself off and it's shifting into what I was saying, more of that vampire energy. You gotta train your brain. The opportunity is now. Don't let it slip. You're coming into a new moon next week. New beginnings. Don't let it slip. It'll take a whole lot longer to backbuild again. You have Saturn also this week in the 11th house. The 11th house is all about your dreams, your ambitions, your goals, being able to breathe it into life. But it is speaking in a sextile with Chiron. This is glorious. It is saying, I'm willing to change. I'm willing to try something new. I'm a little scared because I'm Chiron. I'm the wounded healer. I don't really know if it'll work. But of course it ain't going to work if you don't have the balls to try. Key right there. It's time to grow some balls this week and train your brain and step into the power of you and watch the miracles start to come through. Now, you have Uranus. We have trines this week. Trines are other wonderful energies. You have Mars, which is talking with Pluto. As Mars starts to move away and break away from that North Node and Uranus energy, with Uranus going retrograde next week. All right, which is in shadow. So it's definitely looking at those darker aspects. But Mars is still in that second house, the ability to take the courage, take the power, believe in yourself, passion, action, aggression, your inner fire, your self-worth, your self-value, your self-esteem, standing up for myself. I can do this. It is talking to Pluto, showing the outer world that you can. But are you doing it from that energy of feeling pushed into it? Because then you're not in your power. Then you're in that vampire syndrome energy. Then you're in that manipulation of the Uranus and the North Node being pushed at you, going, I'm questioning your independence. I'm questioning your individuality. I'm questioning your self-worth, self-value, self-esteem. I'm questioning your power, liberation. Like I say, Uranus in retrograde with the North Node here is saying you learn how to get in your power in a spiritual high vibrational way, not in one that has to push and shove to receive, because that's the telltale sign you haven't learned it yet. And with Mars here, it's giving you the power as he moves away from this energy of still stepping into your independence, your fire, your passion, your action, your courage of independently showing the world as it taps into Pluto, the outer world of going, I am capable of standing firm, strong, not being tilted in my way. I will not be moved, but I also don't have to come out vindictive, manipulative. I'm quite capable of standing right here and telling you, no, I don't have to fight with you because I'm not going to lower my vibration. I've made a decision and that's final. That's all. That Mars energy is also having great communication with Mercury. So if you don't let the mind chatter mess with your head, it can definitely support your inner communication as well as your outer communication. It can pick those details out right now. It is in Virgo, the 6th house. Detail oriented. Anal retentive, pick it apart, troubleshooter, re-put it back together. The communication, and communication is the way your brain works, not just the way you speak to others, not just your emails. It's actually taking what you need and understanding the people, places, and things that you are a part of, the groups, the memberships, that you are a part of? Are they soulfully, collectively helping you be your power, be in your power, believe in yourself, and stand up? Or are they trying to step on you and manipulate you to do what they want? This is definitely an opportunity for you to believe in yourself, but it's all going to depend on that mind chatter. The sun is also getting along great with Chiron, but it's also going to be scaring you because the sun illuminates both good and bad. We are talking about Chiron. The sun is not in astrology like the tarot card. It doesn't praise you with good, glorious things. It illuminates things, meaning it brings it to light. It shows your character. But here is in Leo, so it's asking you, your heart, your soul, your creativity, your expression, your fifth house is asking your pursuit of pleasure. Do you flippin' love this life? Do you enjoy what you're doing? Are you able to breathe in every day that you are thankful for who you are, where you are, what you're doing? And if the answer is no, which it is for many, because we all have issues in certain areas, the question is, well, what's keeping you from doing it? One, your head and your beliefs. Still hooked onto that tragic society idea of what the world told you you are and what you're capable of. The fifth house is your pursuit of pleasure. It's your fun zone. It's your hobbies. It's your interests. If you are an artist, are you making time to do your art? If you are a singer, are you having time, or a musician, to practice doing what you love most? If you are, if you're a sports person and you love being, out in the woods, are you getting the time to tap into what makes you want to be part of life, the things that you love? Because maybe, just maybe, it's time to move some shit around and make time. That energy is speaking directly to Chiron, a very new beginning in a brand new cycle, in a brand new house that's very anxious to want it, but not willing to stick to it. Chiron's the wounded healer, already a little afraid to try something. This is the time to not be afraid. Try it. Believe in yourself. Because if you don't, you're going to be exactly where you've always been. And you have one main challenge outside of what you've heard. See, because even with the positives, I make sure you understand the negatives. They may mess with your head. When I get into the challenges, that's where you're really going to find the stuff that messes with your head. You have a grand cross, which means there's a lot of challenges. You have a lot of energies that necessarily want the same thing, but are all fighting out how to get to it. They can't agree. You have the South Node, which is in Scorpio, the ability to transmutate, the ability to transform. Scorpio also speaks to you of the Death card. It speaks to you again of life, birth, death, and rebirth, reincarnation, starting something new, fertility, breathing life into something. The South Node is everything that you are good at and don't do a thing of good for you anymore. It's your flipping comfort zone. And it is the relationships, rules, walls, boundaries. Well, you love them. All outside world environment, friendships, groups, memberships. Will you love them more than you love you? Will you call yourself back to you? Will you believe in you? Can you get past the idea of what they tell you about you? It is asking the sun again, hey man, are you happy? This Leo is also the ruler the ruler of the kingdom. And I say a million times, if you don't like the world you created, it's because, unfortunately, at some point you've made some mistakes and you've been a poor ruler. That doesn't mean that you can't become a better one. It's just critiquing your kingdom. This is asking you if you're taking time for the life that you want, the kingdom that you want. Will you be a better king or queen? And redirect as needed. And then that energy is not getting along with Saturn. Taking the chance to change those rules, laws, and boundaries. Taking the chance to say, guess what? I really want to go after my dreams, my goals, my ambitions. I still love that you want your own. But I'm not going to give you all my time and energy when I needed to work on mine. By all means, I hope that works out for you. But I need this. So unless you can come to a mutual agreement, it might be time for some cutting cords, for some adjusting. That energy is also not getting along with Uranus, Mars, and that North Node. Independence, individuality, unique freedom, uniqueness, and freedom, manifestation, money house. Will you be submissive, or will you be the authority? Will you be responsible for your energy? Will you be responsible for what you create? Taking you right back to your own king or queen of your own kingdom and creating it according to how you see fit, according to what you allowed that brain and its thinking to do. Because everything is energy. But how well are you working with that energy? Or are you just, yeah, I heard that, and then wonder when I tell you in a reading, did I not just tell you that this is exactly what was going to happen? I love you guys. I want you to believe in you. I want you to breathe that soul source life back into you. I want you to create and be everything that you are meant to. You have all the potential. But you've got to believe in you. Only you can conquer you. And lastly, you've got Mercury, again, in the detail-oriented, pick it apart so that it works for your soul in your daily routines, your daily life, your everyday mundane tasks, people, places, and things of energies. What energies you choose to digest into that sacral chakra, Mercury, will it be cluttered with all that mind chatter because it is not getting along with Neptune. It is not getting along with your magic. Will you sabotage yourself by believing in your comfort zone? Or will you get the hell up out of it and take a chance? Because it's time. I love you guys. Bye.